Hi, I'm Jason Blanco, and I'm going to talk to you guys about hormones and the endocrine system. The endocrine system is composed of ductless glands that secrete chemical messengers called hormones. These hormones affect certain tissues and organs called its target organs or target tissues. It gets to these target organs and target tissues just by flowing throughout the blood until it comes upon these tissues and organs. The endocrine system is composed of the following: the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thymus, the thyroids, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, and the gonads. There are two types of feedback loops that control this endocrine system. There's the negative feedback loop and the positive feedback loop. An example of the negative feedback loop is the release of glucocorticoid from the adrenal cortex of the adrenal gland. If there are low blood levels of glucocorticoid, a signal is sent to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then secretes a releasing factor to the anterior pituitary gland that secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone is delivered via the bloodstream to the adrenal gland and causes the adrenal cortex to produce more glucocorticoid. If too much glucocorticoid is produced, a signal is sent to the anterior pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland will then decrease its production and release of adrenocorticotropic hormone, thus lowering the amount of glucocorticoid ultimately produced by the adrenal cortex. So if you're still trying to wrap your head around exactly what a negative feedback loop is, let me give you like an everyday example. Think about how an air conditioner works. You set your AC to, let's say, 75 degrees. It starts producing cold air until it feels like it's reached that limit, or it's gone a little over, so it shuts off and stops really producing that cold air. Well, now that the cold air is sitting in that room, it's starting to warm up, and a sensor goes off saying, hey, we need to start producing more cold air because we're going lower than that limit that we set, so it starts producing cold air again. That's kind of what a negative feedback loop is. Okay, so let's start talking about the glands, and which better to start with than the master gland, the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is divided up into two lobes. The anterior pituitary, which regulates the animal's growth and the thyroid and gonads and other glands' functions. The posterior pituitary gland secretes antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. Let me explain why the pituitary and its hormones are important. Diabetes insipidus is a disease characterized by the pituitary's inability to produce antidiuretic hormone, or the kidney's lack of recognizing the hormone. The pancreas is another important endocrine gland. It helps to regulate blood glucose. The hormone insulin responds primarily to a rise in glucose. It promotes cells to uptake glucose for energy. Glucagon is another hormone that breaks down liver glycogen into glucose, which increases blood glucose level. The thyroid is an organ located in the neck. It is responsible for an animal's growth and reproduction. The thyroid produces a hormone called thyroid hormone, which is actually a collection of two different hormones, thyroxine and triiodothyronine. The hormones affect many metabolic, growth, reproductive, and immune functions. They help regulate lipid and carbohydrate metabolism and also affect heat production in the body. Hypothyroidism is a disease characterized by a deficiency of thyroid hormone. Hyperthyroidism is characterized by an excessive secretion or functionality of the thyroid hormone, or the thyroid. The adrenal glands are paired glands at the cranial part of the kidneys. There's the outer region called the cortex and the inner region called the medulla. These glands are regulated by the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus stimulates the medulla via the sympathetic nervous system. When the medulla is stimulated, it releases epinephrine and norepinephrine. The adrenal cortex produces steroid hormones like mineralocorticoids, which regulates blood volume and electrolyte concentration in the blood, and glucocorticoids, which helps regulate nutrients in the blood. Alright, now let's talk about everybody's favorite endocrine glands, the gonads. The reproductive system is responsible for the production of offspring. So the Leydig cells in the testes are where testosterone is produced, and testosterone is the hormone that is responsible for androgenic characteristics, like what makes a man, like, you know, facial hair and a deeper voice. And also anabolic function, which is the building of tissue. The ovarian follicle and placenta in the female is the site where estrogen is created. This hormone promotes female characteristics like plumage color and beak coloring in female birds, and also helps stimulate and maintain the reproductive tract. Well, that's my very short overview of the endocrine system and its hormones. Thanks for watching.